Good evening and welcome to the Middletown Seventh-day Adventist Church virtual vegan cooking class. Our March edition, we are going to be doing soups tonight. I am Barbara Hagley, and Yvonne will introduce herself later, but we're going to be doing 3 soups that we hope that you will enjoy very much. And just one of them is even one that you're going to be able to just throw together quickly if you get home and you're cold and you need to have something to eat. It's a great choice. You know, as I was thinking about the class tonight, I thought, well, I wonder if the people out there ever wonder, what makes you guys qualified to have a cooking class? Well, one of the things that, and also reasons why we do this, one of the reasons we're doing it now, and in some ways we wish we had started a long time ago, months ago, was to help people out during this time when we need to be keeping our immune system strong. We need good, healthy recipes. That part of our immune system, part of that is eating good food, a variety of food. But another reason, the reason why that gives us qualification, one of the reasons, is that I don't know if all of you are aware of what blue zones are. National Geographic magazine some years ago did a study trying to find people around the world who were healthier, who lived longer lives, and then to study them and figure out, well, why? Seventh-day Adventists are a blue zone. We're the only ones that aren't located in just one place. And the reason that is because of the health practices that we have. A blue zone is listed as people that have less chronic disease and they live longer. They have done a number of studies, and Seventh-day Adventists live 8 to 10 years longer than the normal population. And those aren't years spent in a nursing home. If we follow the health principles that we know of exercise, of eating good food, getting our rest, sunshine, and all those things, we live active lives, and we're able to be active right to the very end of our lives. So that's one of the reasons that we feel confident in sharing the things that we know. So also another thing that I thought of, not everyone, I understand, has a Christian background. Maybe you've wondered, does the Bible say anything about what we should eat? Actually, it does. When God created Adam and Eve back in the Garden of Eden, he gave them instructions. This is what he said. God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food." So Eden's diet was a totally plant-based diet. They did not eat any meat. There were fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables. And scientific research, I'm sure you're aware of this, has proven today that that type of diet is the best for our bodies, that we are healthiest when we follow that type of a diet. Now, one thing that I want to make sure that you know, if during our demonstrations we allowed you to download all the recipes, and if you're cooking along with us, this is a real experiment. I hope we don't go too fast so that y'all can keep up with us, because we've pre-prepared some things. But if you have questions, please, there's a live chat somewhere on your screen that you can communicate with us, and we have someone over here who will raise their hand, and we will try to answer your questions. So let's get started. The first one we're going to do is get our potato soup started. My granddaughter, Susie Ohms, very intelligent, talented granddaughter. She's my assistant here and is going to help me out with cooking our potato soup. For years I had a potato soup recipe that basically I made up, and that's what I followed for our family until I got this cookbook that had one in it which had one ingredient that was really different to me. Everything else was pretty much the same, but dill. And I thought, well, okay, let's try it. It's become a family favorite, so that's what we've done ever since, and that's what we're going to do tonight. All right, so our potato soup. All right, as you notice on your recipe, it says the very first 5 ingredients are what we're going to put in our pot, and that's what we're going to cook, and then we'll add the other ingredients later. So, Susie, if you want to go ahead and take those potatoes and dump that into our pot. Here's the onion. You can put that in there. We're putting the onion and celery on the top intentionally because that way we don't have to add quite so much water. I like to add as little water as possible to just barely cover the vegetables, and of course the potatoes are the main things. Kind of smooth those potatoes out in there so that they're all as flat as possible, and then we'll know how much water to put on them. Another ingredient will be a cup of celery. I brought along my chopper. I don't know if you've seen a chopper like this, but it comes in really handy. Here is the little grid, and it's like not even a half-inch square, and that's the side that we're going to be using in chopping our celery. So Susie, if you want to go ahead and chop them. We've got most of it chopped so we won't make so much noise. Once you get a system going, this thing really helps out, and you can do it very quickly. All right. You can just put it in that pan because we're going to put all this celery in there. We've actually got a little more than a cup, but celery's good. So again, these things, there's nothing magic about the exact ingredients here. So on our recipe, we've got a half a cup of onion, we've got a cup of celery, a little more, and we also have salt. Just sprinkle that all over, and garlic powder. All right, flatten that. Oh, I forgot about, I had some potatoes that I was going to cut up. You know, see how you find things? Yvonne, I need to run back and get a cutting board for me. I sure am glad I saw those. That would have been taking a long time for us to cook that, huh? Whole potatoes. I wanted to show you how small I cut them. You know, you don't have to chop them up in pieces because, small pieces, because you are, and there's a knife on one of those trays. Oh, thank you. Using my new knife that I got for Christmas from the Ohms family. All right, so I'm just going to cut this potato in, say, thirds, and then in 3 pieces the other direction, and that's pretty much how I have cut them all. And also, for the recipe tonight, if you'll notice that it says 4 to 6 potatoes, I used 5, happy medium there. And the potatoes, well, so you can see how big the potato is.
Container right in front of your cutting board is blocking it.
We're having a hard time communicating here. Okay, you can see by my hand how big the potato is. And you know, we like potatoes, so I tended to put more potatoes in. I measured them. So if you want to measure potatoes, it's about 6 cups. One thing about this knife is that it sticks to the potato and then you can't get it off. There we go. All right. Susie, do you think you can manage to get that in the pan yet? Now, we managed to get the potatoes on top, but at least we avoided a disaster. I'm just going to pour water in until the vegetables are just covered. And put the lid on, and then can you take that back and put it on the stove back there? Uh-huh. She's going to run that back, and Yvonne's going to come out with her demonstration while we're cooking that, and then I'll come out and demonstrate my taco soup a little bit later. So, as we switch here, we need to have lots of people helping us and popping everything in place. Does this one come too? Just look at all these vegetables and things that Yvonne's going to cook up.
Okay. Oh, here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yvonne Mickens, and I am one of the presenters for tonight. And I'm demonstrating, I call it an Italian vegetable bean soup, or most people call it a minestrone, and it's one of my concoctions. I love vegetable soup, but most recipes are very laborious, and I love to cook, but a 2 to 3 hour recipe is not my idea of what I want to do. And I did that before with the Martha Stewart recipe, and it was outstanding, but it just took too long. So this is my rendition of a minestrone. So if you have your recipe with you, just follow along. First is a can of diced tomatoes. And I like the Muir Glen organic diced tomatoes, the fire roasted, no salt added. Not because I don't like salt, I do like salt, but I like to be able to control how much salt I have in my food. So this is the best way for me to do it. So just dump this in. And this is one of those dump and cook recipes, and that's why I like it so much. And 6 cups of water. Now this is a 28-ounce can, which is roughly not quite 4 cups. We're 4 ounces, a half a cup short of 4 cups. So, and I like to get as much residuals from my containers as I possibly can. So that's that, and this is about the other half cup. It worked out pretty good. And the next ingredient is cannellini beans. Now, I was in a presentation a few weeks ago. It was a Take Charge of Your Health class, and I'm going to do a plug for them. Take Charge for Your Health is a forum where it's via Zoom. So there are 2 extremely well-versed professionals who are the presenters. The first one is Marilyn Matherly. She's an RN, MSN, and FCN. And then there's also Maria Buckland, who is a certified master health coach. So I like the forum, or the platform, because it's live and you can ask any question about any aspect of health, and they can answer it for you. And so it's Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. And what we'll do with our follow-up email from this class, there will be a link for you so that you can join us. So please feel free to join us. You will not be sorry. This presentation that I'm doing on the cannellini beans came from it, and Marilyn Matherly presented it via Dr. Axe. I think everyone knows about Dr. Axe. So cannellini beans, I just thought of them as being white kidney beans. Okay. And this is a short presentation. The white bean, another name for cannellini beans, has been used to develop a weight loss supplement known as Phase 2. Researchers from Medicus Research LLC in California found that this supplement caused no serious side effects and successfully helped participants lose weight. The participants' blood sugar noticeably did not spike after meals in the same way as those taking the placebo. Further research published in the International Journal of Medical Sciences also indicates that similar supplements and extracts from the white bean are responsible for other body changes, such as a reduction in body mass index and reduced body fat while maintaining lean body mass. Cannellini beans are part of the Phycilios vulgaris classification. of beans, which also includes green beans, navy beans, and a long list of others. When you begin researching cannellini beans, you will find they go by many names, including white kidney beans, Italian kidney beans, northern beans, or fasolia beans. Specifically, they belong to the kidney bean family. Additional research has also been conducted on the ability of cannellini beans to help maintain healthy, normal blood sugar levels. Healthy amounts of blood sugar are common, as a spike in blood sugar is commonly one of the symptoms of diabetes, a destructive disease that impacts more than 3 million people each year in the U.S. alone. On a very practical note, cannellini beans have a very low calorie count while increasing satiety, the feeling of being full. This makes them a great addition to the diet of anyone desiring to lose weight. And finally, another way these dry beans help protect your heart is by lowering LDL cholesterol levels, considered bad cholesterol. It's very possible to regulate your cholesterol levels by eating a healthy diet, and it's much safer than dangerous medications many doctors may prescribe, all of which have significant side effects. And the only side effect you may get from beans is a little gastric disturbance, but that can be alleviated. The more you eat beans, the more of your the bacteria in your gut will develop, and they will no longer be an issue for you. So that's something to take into consideration. So I have 2 cans of cannellini beans that have been drained, not rinsed. So I'll pour these in. And dried vegetables. These dried vegetables have become one of my favorite things to use. And there are all types of varieties, and I've used a lot of different ones, but this one has become my favorite one. I don't know if you can see it. I got it, I shop a lot on Amazon. I'm just an Amazon queen. And this is by Thousand Lakes, and it's dried mixed vegetables. And this blend has dried carrots, onions, whole kernel sweet corn, celery, green beans, green and white leeks, green bell peppers, and red bell peppers. So it's just a really great vegetable combo. And so I use 1 heaping tablespoon. I'm sorry, cup. So that's that. And it's the dried vegetables that gives the soup the illusion of it being a very long, slow cooking dish. Because I guess the drying process does something to the vegetables that makes them be like this way. Okay, Italian seasoning. Since it's a minestrone soup, we're going to make it taste like it's an Italian dish. And I love herbs, and so this is Italian seasonings. It's a tablespoon, but if you use a little bit more, it won't hurt. And red pepper flakes. I pre-measured them because I ordered from Amazon a bulk bag of red pepper flakes, and just to open the bag, I go into a sneezing, well, they're like super potent. And so I pre-measured them. So I wouldn't have to deal with them very much. And I also put the black pepper with them as well. Okay, and next we have garlic powder, 1 tablespoon. It's hard to have too much garlic, but for this size of a pot, it's not too much. And did you know that like onions and garlic, they're basically vegetables, but once they're dried, they turn into the classification of being an herb. So I thought that was interesting. Onion powder, 1 teaspoon. And I usually fix this about once a week because it takes no time to make it. And it's so tasty, so I hope you will enjoy it. Black pepper is already in there. Bay leaf. Bay leaf. It's just, it's hard to say what bay leaf tastes like, but it really rounds out the flavor of whatever is put in. So all you need is one. And McKay's chicken style seasoning, our go-to. That's why I like the unsalted canned tomatoes and really beans. The beans are, oh, I forgot to let you know which ones I used. I used the Simple Truth organic cannellini beans. They're $1 a can. I get Kroger sells these, and really, I've found that a lot of the Kroger organic beans are cheaper than the non-organic beans otherwise, of some of your name brands. So I usually buy their beans. So 2 teaspoons of McKay's. It's really like almost 2 teaspoons of salt because McKay's is primarily salt. And I have on here miso. And the miso you would not add until it's really almost done. And you would take a teaspoon of it and slurry some of the broth with it and add it because you kill a lot of the good nutrients in it when you cook it too much. So I'm not going to do that right now. So I believe that is not it yet. I wanted to demonstrate something. Many people are unfamiliar with, they like kale, but they are challenged with how to process kale. So what I do with kale is I like to keep it in full, I guess, stalks, stems, whatever. I like to wash it really well first before I do anything else to it. And so this has been washed several times and kind of pat dry. And then what I do is it comes off so easily. You just, oops, you just do that. And it just comes off. And this is all you do. And a lot of people complain that, oh, kale, this is so hard. But if you handle it properly, what I also do is, let me back up. What I like to do is I roll it. It's easier to do with collard greens because they're bigger bigger leaves. But I'll take my greens and stack them, and then I will cut them in like ribbons. And doing that softens them tremendously. And so that's what I have over here is about a couple of cups that we'll add later on. So I just wanted to give you that little quick demonstration about beans. I'm sorry, about the greens. And last, what I'd like to show you is, on this recipe, I like to not add my starches, my rices and pastas until I'm getting ready to eat it, because we know pasta and rice, they're big sponges. And what I do is I'll just have cooked like bowls of pasta. These are some pasta shells and some rice. And I like a variety of rice. I don't do white rice because there's really no true food value in it. And this one is, I found this at Kroger. It's American Farmed Nature's Blend, aromatic purple, red, and brown rice. And so that's what I did. That's what this is. It's a good blend of rice. It has a good, really good nutty flavor. It smells like popcorn when you cook it, which I like. And the pasta that I use is by Jovial, and it's a brown rice pasta. And it's one of the few brown rice pastas that have a really good bite it doesn't mush up. You can't really overcook it. It's really difficult to overcook it. So Kroger's carries this too. I mean, all stores for the most part carry it. So if you want to try something like this, and for those of you who are like on a weight loss program, like I'm on Weight Watchers, and for the program that I'm on, all this stuff, everything here is 0 points. So I won't say it's not a free food, but it's not something that I have to be concerned with counting. And 2 last things. One is about nutritional yeast, and this is something I found out through the Take Charge for Your Health class, because I'm always asking questions. Nutritional yeast and quinoa kill my stomach. And for some people, they don't have that problem, but I do. And so I ask, and I know they're both very nutritious, so I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And so I asked Maria, the health coach, about it, and she said, have you ever tried the non-fortified nutritional yeast? I said, is there such animal? I didn't know that. I only knew about the little golden gems flakes in the jar or whatever. And she said, no, they are non-fortified as well. And so I went and bought some from Amazon. And 2 tablespoons has 8 grams of protein. So it is a protein serving, yes, majorly. And so I sprinkle it on my popcorn, or you could even put some in here when you're getting ready to eat it, because it does have that cheesy taste. And minestrone, traditional minestrone has a Parmesan cheese rind that's cooked in it, and that's what gives it that well-rounded, yummy taste. So you may try that. But I just wanted you to know that there is non-fortified nutritional yeast flakes if you have that problem. And with the quinoa, she said all I needed to do was rinse it very well and soak it overnight and re-rinse it before I'm going to cook it, and it should be fine. And I have not had any problems. So I eat a bountiful amount of quinoa now. So just those 2 tips, those are things that you will learn like at the Take Charge for Your Health, that you may not learn anyplace else because you don't have anyone to really ask you those questions. And they dig really deep with the information that they provide us with. So I think that is all for me. And I'll go back and cook my soup. And at about 25 minutes into it, it only takes a half an hour. And 25 minutes into it, I'll add the kale and stir it in and let it do its thing. Yeah. Oh, I didn't do anything. I'm sorry. I didn't turn it on. I'm sorry. I forgot.
I'm worried that mine won't get done back there. We won't have time, because it won't take enough.
Oh, mine will be okay.
You know, the potato soup recipe, if you notice on the bottom, it says that you're to mash the potatoes before they're quite done. Well, we're going to do that tonight, because I don't know if those potatoes are going to be done in time. Anyway, we were counting on it taking more time. You know, sometimes a recipe takes a lot longer, and we didn't calculate real well here. So, Susie's going to help me, and we're going to demonstrate our taco soup. I got this recipe from some friends in Tampa, Florida, where we used to live in that area. And it's just a wonderful, quick recipe for a family. If you come home and you're cold and you want to have something hot, it's a really fast thing to have. So I keep these things in my pantry to make sure that I'm always ready whenever we want it. Okay, so the first ingredient, it calls for 2 cans of Swanson's vegetable broth. Now, we all have different ways that we make broth. Sometimes when I make a soup and it calls for broth, I just don't have that, so I'll get some vegetable bouillons out. And even here's one that is a great one to use, and that is Better Than Bouillon, a teaspoon per cup. So 28 ounces would be 7 cups? No, 4 cups. Anyway, figure that out. Anyway, but tonight we're going to go ahead and use this. I just found some vegetable broth at the grocery store. I shop at Kroger and got this. So Susie's going to put that in our pan. Now the next ingredient Mexican corn. It's been real interesting. During this COVID pandemic, I have not always been able to find Mexican corn. I don't know why there would be a run on Mexican corn, but even now I couldn't find the size that it calls for in the recipe. So nothing magic about it. We'll use the lesser amount. I have, instead of a 15-ounce can, I found an 11-ounce can. So that's what we're going to use. You can go ahead and put this in there, Susie. If you're not used to if you don't know what Mexican fiesta style corn is, it's basically just got corn and some peppers in it. Red pepper? Here. All right. Now, I did drain the corn, the Mexican corn, but I'm not draining the beans, the black beans, and like it says on the recipe, I use seasoned. I like seasoned black beans, and that gives the soup, of course, a little bit more flavor. Okay, Susie? Oh, we need to get this started. All right, we've got our little power heater here going. And then the last ingredient, as you can see, is just a jar of salsa. Most salsa, you can find 16-ounce jars. Whatever your choice, I'm using medium. You can use mild, medium, hot, whatever you like. So just pour it all in there, the whole thing. We've got an induction cooktop here, and so this isn't going to take very long at all to heat. And then we'll show you how we just put some, and we'll demonstrate how to put it over corn chips, pour the soup over, well, corn chips and then some vegan cheese on top of that, and pour the soup over that, and put some sour cream and maybe chives on the top. So that's what we'll be doing with that. While we're waiting for some of these things to get done, the potatoes actually will be done in a few minutes, so I'm pleased with that. You want to take these things out and then bring those place settings back. And put those things on it so that you can take them out too. One of the things that I've learned as I've helped with cooking classes is the importance of always making your food look attractive. It's a lot more interesting to eat food when it's prepared and presented in an attractive way. So tonight we came up with the thought that we should show you how we would serve the foods that we're going to serve. We would show what else we would serve with it to make a complete meal, and then just to give you ideas, not that it has to be done that way, but we thought it would be just kind of fun for you to see that. Here's the one that we're going to put the potato soup in. I love muffins, and our family does muffins with potato soup. So right here are some muffins that I actually made to serve with potato soup just a week or two ago. They are some vegan muffins, and we did them with, they've got apple, they're apple cinnamon muffins. And then I've got some carrot and celery sticks here so you have a little crunch. And I like a fruit or something at the end, so we're showing an apple there. Then, okay, yes, can you bring the other one out that Yvonne has? On this one, the one that we're going to be doing the taco soup, I thought, oh man, you're not going to put muffins, you're not going to put bread with the taco soup because you got the chips in there. But our family enjoys some raw vegetables. We love cauliflower and broccoli, and many times we'll dip it in a ranch dressing, which is great. When we get all done, we have enjoy some little mandarin oranges. So that's what we've set up here for our serving idea. All right, our soup is already steaming. That's wonderful. All right, you want to go back and bring that other tray with the milk and everything on it? So we'll see how our potato soup. One of the things I wanted to tell you about too is what we have done here before COVID came along, and I'm still thinking about opening up and doing actual classes just as soon as we can, where you can come in person, and that way you can taste these foods. Of course, if you're cooking them with us, you'll get to taste them tonight. But here's the rest of the ingredients. One of the things that we had wanted to do just before we got shut down with COVID, in fact, we had our flyers, everything ready to mail, and that is we were going to do a 7-week class from a cookbook and be doing a lot of recipes every night. So we were going to do things like bread, crackers. I almost wish I had demonstrated the crackers tonight, because of course it's fun to have homemade crackers when you have soup. But I did want to show you the cookbook. I failed to put on the recipe, that this is the cookbook that the recipe for the potato soup came from. It's called Naturally Gourmet, and it's just one of my very favorite cookbooks. I haven't found many in there that we don't like. It's by Karen Houghton. She's an RN, BSN, battle, and she's a queen of seasoning, so I would highly recommend. You can find it online. This is my favorite vegan cookbook. So, and when you try the potato soup, you'll see how good it is. All right. See, just in the time we're talking here, you could have had supper already. So, Susie, would you put some chips there? And Yvonne, there is some cheese, some vegan cheese, maybe down in that little. We like to kind of crush the chips up before we put, all right? You want to sprinkle some cheese across. And I don't know if you're familiar or not, familiar with tofutti sour cream. I've tried a lot of sour creams. I personally like this one the very best. It's getting a little bit harder to find. Our Kroger grocery stores have quit carrying it. They used to carry it, so now I have to go to health food stores. But I'm still able to get it, and I'm thankful for that. Of course, you can make your own sour cream too, which is great if you like to do that. My problem is I don't use it fast enough. All right, so now let's get that over here, and let's put some of our soup in there. Dig down in the bottom so we get lots of those beans and other things along with it. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the corn and the beans in there. I'll put another one on there. And then to top it off, put a little dollop of sour cream, Susie. And then if you want to leave it right here, the other thing that I'm going to do, I have some cilantro here, and I'm just going to, my tricky little herb scissors, I'm going to cut some and just cut it right across and put it on the top so that it looks pretty and nice. All right, there we go. All right. We need to turn our heat down here. All right, go back and Susie, you can entertain them while I run back and get the potato soup, right?
Uh-huh.
I'll take this back, and I'm going to bring the potato soup out because it's been cooking for about 20 minutes now, and I think it should be fine. I'll set this here. Potatoes are done. So I've got a potato masher. If you'll notice on your recipe, it says to mash the potatoes. So I'm I'm just going to mash those up with the celery and the onions, everything in there. You can mash it for as little as much as you like. It's starting to look nice and creamy. All right, now I'll try. You can kind of see it. We need a mirror.
There you go. Sorry, ready to go.
All right, very good. All right, I think we've got it. Measure out 2 cups of milk for me, Susie. I'll tell you the recipe, the original recipe in Karen's book calls for 4 cups of milk. I always find that it's too soupy for me, and so I do just 2 cups, but you can do whatever you like. And maybe if you put less water on, I do have waterless cookware that I cook in a lot. All right, so pour that right in here. All right, stir that up, and then we need a 1/2 cup of better than sour cream, the tofutti sour cream. So, to mix that up, I find that I like to put a little soup in it so that it breaks up better and doesn't just clump up everywhere. 1/2 cup.
Maybe a little bit more.
All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of the soup and mix it in here so that it'll all mix in real nicely. I'll use this ladle. You know, a lot of recipes of potato soup have, regular sour cream in it and butter and all kinds of really, I think fattening, besides things that'll plug your arteries. And that's one thing, a nice thing about this, that everything in there is going to be good for you. All right. And last but not least is our dill weed. Got it pre-measured. I believe it's 1 teaspoon. Note to self, mix it in with the sour cream next time, because it's kind of clumping up and swimming around here. Anyway, that's all there is to this soup. It finishes up very nicely, and I'll just serve it up here so you can see how pretty it looks. On a plate with everything else. There's a great supper, folks. I wish you were here to eat it with us. All right, Yvonne, do you want to do can you serve any of yours up?
I can, you are,
I can take mine off of here.
oh, you want me to just show this?
Uh-huh, please. All right. So now we need some people to eat all this soup.
Is the table, you want her at the table?
Let's just throw this down and you can set it on there. How's that?
Why don't you put it on the good thing? Leave that and cut ourselves.
Okay. Well, really, I may use some of that. Okay, let me do one. It's been about 20 minutes. Technically, it's done.
Turn the burner back on.
10 is the max.
Okay,
See, it's already boiling.
yeah. That's
Okay.
good. Okay, all right. Okay, so I know I said it takes a half an hour to cook, but technically for the dried vegetables, it's only 10 minutes. Everything else is done. So if you want 10-minute soup, it's really a 10-minute soup. I cook it longer because it just has a better flavor the longer it cooks, that's all. So, and the carrots take a little bit long. They say 10 minutes, but they're a little chewy. But I would still just demonstrate how I would serve it. So, yeah, it's kind of bubbly. So what I do, I put my little pasta or rice, just a little bit. That's about a quarter cup, but if you like a lot of pasta, you can use a lot of pasta. And you can do rice. And this is about, probably about a quarter cup. And then what I do is, then I ladle the soup on top of it. No, because we were short the kale. That's okay. I didn't put the kale in because we were a little closer on time, but the good thing is, if you don't do it now, because the soup is so hot, you could put it in about 5 minutes. It will wilt. It'll cook with the heat from the soup. So, but this is how I serve mine. I usually eat a bigger bowl. I'm just being kind. But that's the soup, and I always serve it with the salad. And the salad is usually twice as big as the soup bowl. But just for presentation, we want to be, we don't want to look like little pigs. It's amazing how we eat when we're really at home by ourselves.
But you can eat that way when you're eating such good food.
You can.
It really has almost no calories in it.
There's no calories, there's no fat in it. I mean, you can just gobble, gobble, gobble. And an apple, if you want an apple. I was jokingly talking with Barbara about my sister and I when we were growing up. I love dessert, and she loved meat. And so she would say, "I'll trade you your dessert for. I'll trade you my dessert for your meat." And I'm like, "Okay, that's okay." So I got a lot of dessert, and I was very happy. And so I also told Barbara, I'll forego bread at a meal for dessert. So I made a fudgy chocolate treat. It's like a double fudge peanut butter thing. It has coconut and raisins and walnuts and sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds and peanuts. And
Did you eat all of that?
yeah, I will eat all this. And guess what? For me on Weight Watchers, it's just 4 points.
Wow.
So I'm fine. It has oats in it.
So now you have to demonstrate that next time.
I may demonstrate this the next time.
You better send out the recipe, because now everybody's gonna
Like, what? You can eat that much dessert? Yeah. So you see why I will bypass bread. I can eat all of this.
And again, it's got all kinds of good stuff in it.
It has everything
Oats
that's
and
good,
dates
yeah.
and- Wow.
Yeah, it's really yummy for you. And
All right.
so this is what I would probably do for a lunch. I like dessert at lunch and dinner. So, and with it only being what this is, you can easily do that and not worry about expanding yourself. So, but that's how I do my soup.
All right, so I just wanted to clarify, you didn't put the kale in there because you needed to cook it another 5 minutes and we brought you out here to.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Otherwise, she would have put the kale in, cooked another 5 minutes, and then it would have been all go. So then you would have had green stuff in there besides.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we are So glad that you all joined us tonight. I hope some of you were cooking. I don't know if we got any comments. Apparently not, because I didn't see anybody. We must have explained everything very well, Yvonne.
I
because they
think
didn't
that's
have
what it
any
was.
questions, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's what it
Okay.
was.
All right, I failed to have a prayer before we started, so let's close tonight with a prayer. Let's bow our heads. Loving Father, oh Lord, thank you so much for all the wonderful variety of food that you've given us, things that are good for our bodies and keep us healthy, and yet taste so very good. Help each one of us as we search and find recipes that are more what you want us to eat, that we can build our immunity systems, and that so that we're not be so subject to all the germs and things, the viruses that we come in contact with. Bless each person that was here tonight, Lord, as they strive to do better and better in their health. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good night.